Hi guys, welcome back. Welcome to 2021. Let's hope it's a better year. I've got a cut here from the Rock Princess Cricut cartridge, and I've popped up part of that element, and I'm just going to make a really simple Valentine's card to kickstart my Valentine's series this year. So I've got some Tim Holtz watercolor paper. You could use any watercolor paper or mixed media paper, doesn't matter. And I've actually got some stencils that I got for Christmas. And these are the mini, so you get 3 stencils in there, and this is set number 6. So these are Tim Holtz stencils. So these are like I say, the mini version. And what I'm going to try and do is with some oxides, I've got some spun sugar here. I'm going to layer each of the colors that I use. I'm going to layer them up, and that helps to sort of bring some depth to your background. And in the end, I actually really love this background. It kind of looks like a graffitied wall sort of thing. That's sort of what it reminds me of. So I liked it. I liked how it turned out. So just starting off with the one that looks a bit like lace. And in hindsight, I probably would have gone from darkest to lightest because the oxides will layer on top of each other. And so the next layer is going to be worn lipstick. But you'll see as I go, it gets darker and darker. So I might have done it the other way around because these are a combination of pigment and dye ink. They tend to sit on top of the paper. So they're great if you want to stamp onto dark cardstock as well. Because of that sort of feature, I guess. Feature's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. So I'm just going over with the second stencil, and I'm kind of using the hearts that I've already inked as a guide to where to get the next lot down. It's not an exact thing and they don't line up specifically, so they're not like the there is a set of stencils that he's come out with that sort of are meant to layer and sort of you can sort of move them along. Can't remember what they're called now, but anyway. And then I've got some picked raspberry oxide ink as well, and these tend to be, this and black soot as well, tend to be my go-to colors for this year's Valentine's series. For some reason I just picked 3 of the sort of pink and pinky reds and just went with it. so far so good with what I've been making. With these I've also at this point had to go over one of the areas, and you can kind of see it there. So I just wanted the words to sort of, that text background to stand out a bit more. So I lined it up and went back over it. You're not going to notice it. I didn't line it up perfectly well, but you're not going to notice that anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then of course I have to spritz it with water. You can't not play with distress inks and not use some water to give it that sort of more distressed inky sort of look. So just using the heat tool. This is not a blow dryer. It looks like a blow dryer, but it's not a blow dryer. Please don't blow dry your hair with this. It will burn. But it's a heat tool and it's really good because the airflow is slower, but it's still very, very, very hot. So it dries things like this off really, really quickly. So then I decided I needed some more ink, of course. So I took the lacy looking one and I went back with the same color, so with the spun sugar, and I went over the top of everything again. I'm not lining it up with what was underneath either because honestly I don't think I could see it. So I didn't line it up or anything. I just went over the top, and I think that's the thing. The more you build up layers in your backgrounds, the better they look. So although I'm only using 3 colors, well actually I use a 4th color in a minute, but because I'm only using 3 colors, doesn't matter. It still builds those layers up. So I'm now going to go in with a different background. And the picked raspberry, I believe. So I stuck with the same stencil with the same color, but I just layered up where I thought I needed those stencils again. So the hearts are quite bold, so I think I only did those once, and then the other 2 I did twice, just to add more depth. So I think that's coming along quite nicely. And don't mind my nails. I hadn't got rid of the old polish. So now I'm going to take some, what am I doing? One lipstick, Distress ink, the same oxide ink, and I'm just going around the edges with that to start with. You'll see in a minute, it's not as bold as I'd like it, although it looks quite nice. It just didn't stand out enough for me, so I needed another layer. And also I have the black word on my main image, so I decided to bring in some black soot, and this has actually stayed on my desk for most of this year's Valentine's cards. I think that's quite nice. If you're making multiples of things, pick some colours. If it's a themed thing like Christmas, Halloween, Valentine's, Easter, whatever it is, and you're making multiples, bring out a few colours, and then that's your colour palette for that season, or for that season or holiday or whatever it is. And by bringing in the black soot for this one, it just made such a difference to the edge. It tied in the word as well, because obviously I had the word across them all is in black, and then I have grey for the shadow and the base of the card. Now obviously, because the black soot in the oxide, it is black, but it's not crisp black, so it almost has a grey tint to it, so it works really well with the grey background, and it ties both that and the black and the grey together. And then of course, because I started inking the edges of things, I had to ink the edge of everything, so I think that's key as well. If you start doing that with a project, and you start inking the edges of one, your background, say, do it on everything, because it just ties the whole lot together. And for me, that just works really well. And I adore this card. Considering it was the first one I'd made this year, I was just like, it just worked. In the end, it just worked really well. So again, just going to ink the edge of the cardstock. And I believe all the cardstock I've used is Stampin' Up cardstock, so except obviously the watercolor piece. And this is a standard A2 size card, so this base is this is a side fold, so it measures 11 by 4 1/4, folded at 5 1/2, and then the watercolor piece is 4 by 5 1/4. So just deciding what I want to do, whether I want to pop that up again, because the heart and the word are actually popped up from the shadow that is a feature in the Cricut design space, or on any of the other bugs that you might have. So you might have the expression, the baby bug, there's a shadow feature on there as well. So I'm just trying to decide what I want to do, and I'm going to pop up the image, and I'm going to keep the watercolor panel, I'm going to keep that flat. I just thought that made the most sense for me at the time when I was doing this. So I didn't need to, because I have already popped up part of the image anyway, within itself, so I didn't actually need to pop it up again, but I think it looked nice. So, and also, excuse me, what I did to the word is I used a glitter pen, like a, what do you call it, like the Nouveau Aqua Shimmer, or the, what's the other one I've got, the can't think, Spectrum Noir pen by Crafter's Companion. I have one of those as well, and it just adds the shimmeriness. It's like a clear shimmer. And then when that was dry, I then put some glossy accents. In fact, I didn't use glossy accents on that one, but you could use glossy accents, or I used the Nouveau Crystal Glaze over the top, and it just, I love that combination. It's the best combination for like a shimmery, shiny look. It's beautiful. And then I've used some Lawn Fawn, you can tell I haven't done a video for a while, some Lawn Fawn 1/4 inch tape for the watercolor panel for my background, because it's actually really sticky tape. You wouldn't think so, but it's really good tape, and it's super sticky, but it also, the release paper is really easy to get off, which is a bit of a thing for me. I struggle with things like that, which is why I now have a tape gun. It just makes life easier, especially on videos. But it's really sticky and really good, strong adhesive. So there you have it. First Valentine's card of the 2021. Let's hope that this year's a bit better, and I hope you guys are enjoying this start of this series. I will be back, I think, 3 times a week. I'm going to stick to that. There might be bonus videos in there, but 3 times a week at least. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.